What it do? It's DOA, niggas. Back with another episode of Putting Shit Together. This episode, man, we just gonna talk about a little bit of travel. Um, I know a lot of y'all don't know, probably none of y'all know, that I am an affluent traveler, man. Um, I've been to 46 of the 50 states. Only states I haven't been to is Alaska, North Dakota, Vermont, and Rhode Island. And I've been to St. Croix several times, Puerto Rico several times. Been to Amsterdam, Curacao, which is an island down in the Gulf. Oh, the Czech Republic, Prague, and I've been to every country in Central America with the exception of Belize and San Salvador. Also been to Colombia as well. So I get around, to say the least. Been to Hawaii as well. But I know a lot of people are interested in traveling. A lot of people call themselves travelers, but they just people who want to take trips for the gram, to be honest. But I've been a traveler since youth, to be honest. I drive cross country and everything, and I ain't no truck driver. I moved from Kentucky to Phoenix, Arizona, and have driven that trip several times. Been on a Greyhound across country, trains across country, just everything. I always had a knack for traveling, but I just wanted to touch on the latest place that I've been, which was also in Central America. Um, it was Nicaragua, Managua, Nicaragua. That's what we're gonna touch on today. And I just want to say I had an amazing time. But if you look up Managua, Nicaragua on the travel list, the U.S. travel list is probably not going to get good reviews. Let's see. Travel advisory. It says, due to arbitrary enforcement of laws, the risk of wrongful detention and limited health care availability, exercise increased caution in Nicaragua due to crime. So, as you can see, they trying to tell you it's not one of the best places to travel to, which, having gone there, I can agree with some of it. It is a impoverished place on a lot of levels, but if you've ever been anywhere in Central America, they're all kind of about the same as far as that poverty level goes. I will say Panama is super built up, skyscrapers. It looks kind of like Miami, Panama does, as far as the cityscape goes. Um, but I guess because of the canal, they probably generate a lot of money. Costa Rica's very nice as well. Honduras is nice, but about as built up as Nicaragua as far as the city infrastructure and things like that. But I just want to say Managua was excellent. And you got to keep in mind that these travel advisories and warnings are coming from somebody who doesn't look like me, just to to be honest, to say the least. And where I come from, man, the poverty level was high as well. I grew up in Birmingham, Alabama, so I'm no stranger to the poverty level and the crime rate being high. Now, I don't speak Spanish, even though I spent a lot of years in Phoenix and have traveled all over Central America. So that's one of the things you kind of got to be aware of when you're going to these other places. If you don't speak the language, it would be good to have somebody with you who does. I've never traveled to any of these countries with someone who does speak the language. I just kind of make do as best I can. Do an old school style. Try to talk slowly and be expressive with the hands to let people know kind of what I'm asking and what I'm looking for. Also use the translator on my phone as well. Um, in the event that I need to, I can understand enough Spanish to, adhere to the road signs and things of that nature. So I can kind of get by with my level of Spanish that I am familiar with. But I just say, I took two legs from Huntsville to Houston, Houston to Managua, which was a pretty easy trip. I mean, Huntsville to Houston's about an hour, a little over an hour trip. Then Houston to Managua, I believe, was about 2.5 hours, which isn't bad. And I'm one that kind of gets a little stir crazy on long rides on airplanes. I went to Hawaii, and that was like, whew, that was a little bit brutal. Just the time on the plane kind of gets to me a little bit, but this was obviously not that bad, which is why I kind of like going to Central America. I did rent a car upon arriving, and I stayed in one of the Hilton properties. So this particular Hilton property, I stayed in the Hilton Princess, and it was nice. The people were friendly. The women who helped me both at the Hilton checking in and at the Enterprise to get my car both could speak enough English in order for, to make it easy for me to do what I needed to do, which was great. Um, I will say, if you go to Central America and you plan on renting a car, just know that the cars are going to be manual transmission. I don't think I've ever gotten an automatic transmission car anywhere in Central America. So if you do want to rent a car, if you like me, I like to rent a car because when I'm traveling, I don't want to be restricted to the places that are kind of more touristy. I usually go to these places with an itinerary of things that I want to see, and I want to be able to kind of move freely on my own time. But you do need to know how to drive a manual. I don't know if it's possible to get an automatic transmission car from these rental car places, but that's something you could definitely check into if you need that type of accommodation. Now, um, Nicaragua's got the biggest lake in Central America, a volcanic lake. Also, it's got obviously volcanoes. Let's see, shoot, just beaches on both sides, and the landscape itself is very beautiful. One of the draws for me to go to Nicaragua was they're one of the top producers of cigars in the world. Most of the cigars that I smoke here in the United States are all made in Nicaragua, which it was interesting. I didn't really know that they're pretty much all coming from one town in Nicaragua, and the city that they're coming from is Esteli. And I guess just the volcanic ground in the climate itself must be very conducive to growing tobacco. And what I found um traveling to Esteli, which was about a 3 hour drive from Managua where I flew into, there's like a big Cuban population there as well. So they got a lot of Cubans in Esteli. Both the factories that I toured were run by Cubans, but obviously using Nicaraguan tobacco, some Ecuadorian tobacco, and others they use Connecticut leaves and all of that. But most of the fillers, for the most part, were Nicaraguan fillers, and I just tend to like that type of tobacco myself. Preferred it, and it was a nice experience. You can go to some of the best factories and tour them, like AJ Fernandez. I believe Espinosa's got a factory there. I think Padron too has their factory there. So you can go and set up tours with these different factories, and you can see the process, and they can give you a lot of knowledge as far as cigars go, which is, if you're a cigar lover, or even if you're not and just interested in production and seeing just, I don't know if you've ever taken a factory tour, but just you can learn a lot through watching the production and the artistry that goes into making these cigars. So I thoroughly enjoyed that. The food was good. As you could see, I had pictures of the food. There was good food everywhere to be had. If you've been to Central America, you could pretty much find food. You could be driving in your car and they'll come to your window with food. So food's never really a scarcity. They make some good food on the side of the road. There was a couple of nice malls within Managua where I got that first meal that you saw pictured on the screen. I got that out of this mall that's pictured on the screen here. So yeah, I had no problem getting some good cuisines. Coming from Esteli, I also was able to get tomahawk steak. I mean, it was amazing. I had a friend of mine referred me to this place who does a lot of tours of cigar factories in Esteli. So that was pretty nice. This is from the top of I think the top of that mall, this picture. And yeah, the city itself, was pretty nice. Obviously, you're gonna have a wealth gap. Um, and the dollar weighs pretty heavy out there. So, for the most part, it's gonna be a lesser expensive place that you can travel as far as, your dollar stretching far. So I was pleased, obviously, to find that out. But with that also comes a lot of, I don't want to say begging, but a lot of panhandling. You got the kids coming asking you for money, and everybody's trying to make a dollar, which really don't bother me that much because, as I said, I come from a place where the poverty was high as well. So I try to support these people as best I can. You know what I'm saying, with the money that I have, and go ahead and shop with them and be as respectful as I can to the situation that they got going on. This was Roberto Clemente Park, which I visited. It was near downtown Managua by the Bicentennial Park. and it was a real nice park. They had a like volleyball courts and ramps for like skateboarding and shoot a water park. And I mean, it was a big park, kind of like I wouldn't say an amusement park. I don't know what you would call that, but it was like a recreational park. They had a lot of things going on. I actually spent a lot of time there. I parked my car there, and I was able to walk around the downtown, walk down to the waterfront, and they had a lot of food vendors down there and everything. So that was real nice. Then I came back and people were out there all night. I believe that was Monday night that I was there, and people were there pretty late. I was kind of worried that they were going to close the gates. I didn't really know what time they closed. So I kind of lingered around. I was watched the little volleyball game on the volleyball courts and walked around to the skate park and all of that and just kind of chilled out. But it was a very nice park. I recommend if you go there with your family to definitely stop in there, and the kids will probably have a ball. That's a guarantee. It was a real nice park. Didn't know Roberto Clemente was from Nicaragua, but that was something interesting I found out by being down there. You could see me pictured there at the park. And yeah, the downtown. This is I guess the national building, and it was very pretty down there. Even prettier at night with all the lights lit up and everything like that. It was a real nice place. You could see that kind of at dusk, and yeah, it was just beautiful to walk downtown and all of that. It was a real nice experience. Now the nightlife was something that was impressive. If you go in there, and I'm not I don't go out a lot here in the States, but when I go elsewhere, I do like to kind of take in the nightlife a little bit. And I was pleased to find that they was partying every night. There was some clubs pretty close to the Hilton that I stayed at. I think one of them was LA 42, Peepers. They're all on the street together. And I wanted to smoke some hookah and smoke my cigars and stuff. And I was able to do both of that at these clubs that were close to the hotel. So that was a pleasant surprise. I actually walked to them from the hotel. I met some people there that said they wouldn't advise people to walk there, but I guess one of the perks of being 6'2" and kind of looking the part, being able to take care of yourself, is you might not get tried as much as maybe uh, some of the other American tourists that travel there. So do be aware of that. You can easily take a taxi, a motorcycle taxi, or a car taxi up there, and I'm sure it'll be really cheap. So if you're worried about that, or you wearing your jewelry like I was, you might not want to walk. They say people pull up on you on motorcycles with weapons and demand your money and jewelry. So just keep and be aware of that. I've only had that happen to me one time, and that was in Manaus, Brazil, which was a pretty rough place. I mean, I kind of got hassled by the police as well as somebody trying to rob me. They didn't end up getting my stuff, but they definitely pulled up on me in the fashion I just mentioned. But I wasn't willing to give nothing up. I went back to my hotel quickly as I could. So just be aware of that. Be aware of your surroundings. Take a taxi, or if you got your car, just drive your car and pull up these places. Last night I did drive, but I was there a Monday, Tuesday, and a Wednesday night. And all three of those nights, the clubs were pretty packed. I wouldn't say they probably weren't as packed as they would be on the weekends, but it was definitely a good crowd. The DJ was good. Everybody was having fun. It was a pretty enjoyable time. So that was some of the things I did. I also went up to where the volcano is. I think it's Chiloa is the name. I was going up to Crater Lake, and unfortunately, it was closed when I got there. But I did get to see the lake, and I did get to see the volcano and the towns that were surrounding it. Um, it was a nice experience. I would suggest, if you into like national parks and things of that nature, to definitely go check it out. It was pretty nice. And one thing that I will say is, shoot, the towns were pretty packed up there. The traffic was not super bad, but there was a lot of cars on the road up there, so be aware of that. Um, a little bit less wealth up there by the volcano as opposed to down, in the city. So just keep that in mind. Keep your head on a swivel. And yeah, just back to Esteli, they seem to be pretty. I won't say that they themselves were wealthy, but I saw some of the nicer houses going out that way. I can only assume maybe the industry that they got going out there probably has produced some people with a little bit more wealth out there. So the town itself looked pretty similar to Managua. It didn't have the bigger buildings. The downtown wasn't quite as big, but it was a very nice town. I enjoyed it. I walked around there as well, and they had a lot of factories in the downtown area and within a close distance of one another. So I think the tobacco industry probably is creating a little bit of more wealth in that area. They did say it was probably one of the more expensive places in Nicaragua to buy a house. Um, I don't know what that means as far as how much the houses cost out there, but I'm sure they're cheaper than here than within the states. But more than around Managua. So that's just something that if you might be interested in buying some property over there, that's just a tidbit of information for you. But all in all, man, I get a trip probably like a 8, 9 out of 10 as far as my experience being able to take in the sights, and I didn't have any problems with safety myself. I'm not gonna tell you that it's not dangerous out there because it probably is, but I didn't have any problems personally, so I gotta give it a high ranking. As far as the nightlife went, it was great. The drinks were real affordable, and I mean, I really had a ball. And with being able to go and visit Esteli and see something that I cared about as far as the cigar industry and getting to see some of the inner workings, that was really icing on the cake. So I would definitely say this is a place you probably would want to visit. I didn't get to go to some of the nicer beaches, but I hear the beaches are really nice. Down on the Cali side is what they call it. So that'll be the west side of Nicaragua. The beaches are real nice out here. It's a lot of surfing going on and people traveling there a lot to surf. So if you into that type of thing or just like a nice beach, I'll probably say this will be a good place for you to go. I think the beach destinations are a little bit more touristy than the places that I was going within Managua and Esteli. So keep that in mind. If you're just going for the beach, it might be a great place. It's probably a little bit safer down by the beaches as well, even though I didn't have any problems within the city. But that's something to consider. And man, I just wanted to give y'all a little look into these places. If it's any place that you think I might have went or you want me to go, drop it in the comments. If you've been to Nicaragua yourself, just Drop some in the comments. Let me know what you would give it, what you would rank it as far as a travel destination and enjoyability. And yeah, man, always a pleasure to have y'all tune in. It's peace and love, love and light, wisdom and insight, DOA. We're putting shit together. To the next episode. Peace.